International adoption, and how much does it cost? Yes, this is a common question. I'm going to go into some of the costs and also what you are paying for, how we paid for our adoption, and why that should not be the reason that is stopping you from pursuing this if you feel like this is what God has for you and your family and your story. If you are new here, my name is Sierra McDowell. Thank you for joining me. My husband Kevin and I did not have the money at all. We did not have this money sitting around. We literally were just like, how are we going to pay for this? But we did not let that stop us, because we knew that one way or another, it was going to get figured out. Yes, it does cost a lot of money. And often people will ask me how much it costs, and then they will follow up with, I would love to adopt, but it just costs so much money. And when I'm in one of my moods and I am feeling a little spunky that day, I think to myself, I don't say it out loud, but I think to myself, yes, it costs a lot of money, but how much is the car that you are driving around right now? And I don't say that because I feel like it shames people, and I don't want people to feel shame, because there are a lot of reasons not to adopt. And if it is not part of your story, then it's not something you want to necessarily just try to force to happen or to make it happen. So there are a lot of reasons not to. I respect those 100%. I never want to shame anyone in not adopting. But when I hear them say that, it irks me a little bit, because a child is priceless, and that should never be the reason in saying no, because of the fear of the cost. Okay, so why does it cost so much? Let's break this down a little bit, because people often say like it shouldn't cost so much, and you know what, I wish that it didn't, but there are so many things that you are paying for in this process. So the big one, right, is the adoption agency. Find a good agency, because this is going to matter a lot. Do your research, interview them, find one that's going to fit you and your process. You're paying for their experience, you're paying for the research, you're paying for the relationships that they have in country, which is huge. You are paying to process your paperwork, to translate paperwork, to give you a system, because there's so many things to keep track of and to figure out, and they are worth every stinking penny. You're paying for your homesteader. You have someone that is coming in and, you know, checking out your home, interviewing you, making sure that you are up for growing your family through means of adoption. And they do interviews and doing fingerprinting, FBI clearances, psych evaluations. You know, we paid a couple $1,000s for that. Really want to make sure that you are fit for doing this, kind of what it takes, and making sure that it's going to go as easily as possible. You're also paying for follow-ups after the adoption, where they come back and they just see how the transition is going and making sure that things are going smoothly. With our agency, they provided the training for us, but you could be paying for that for cost. I think it was like 15 hours of training, and then also book reports and things like that. So our agency, we worked with Madison. They work with another company. I can't remember what it is called right now off the top of my head. I will link it down below so you can see what trainings that we use. And so we had access to that, which was really nice, because otherwise you're paying for those out of pocket as well. Every country has different criteria and what kind of training they ask of you. The US is one of the more expensive countries when you are adopting, because of the things that they have you do. And they're over in Colombia, and my dog is about to kill one of my chickens. I don't want my chickens to die. Sorry. So when we were over in Colombia in the process of bringing home our son, we talked to people that were from other countries, and their cost was lower. You pay more in the US side. You know, everything's a little bit more expensive, I feel like, in the US. Part of that is just because of the government stuff that you are going through. You're also paying for travel. This area is a little bit difficult, because it really depends like what your experience is over there, how long you're staying, how many people are going. So it was me, my husband, we took my mom and my other 2 children. So there was 5 of us that were traveling for 5 weeks, and that is hotels, that is, you know, cars, that is flights, that is food, that is paying for laundry to be done because you are in a hotel and you're not packing that many clothes. So all of these things can really add up pretty quickly. And then also when you are over there with your child, you're paying for, you know, their doctor's appointments. They have to be cleared. You're paying for sometimes vaccines, you are paying for blood work to be done. There's so many small expenses that build up over time. We had the drivers, they were so cool. Our agency set them all up and they were wonderful. We became like close with some of them, and you really built like this bond with them because they are like with you through this whole journey, which is really cool. You're also paying for your in-country rep. The woman that we had, the team that we had over there, and I know I said this in one of my other videos, it was outstanding. They were with us every step. They were so amazing. You're wondering, okay, Sierra, just tell us how much it cost you. So our adoption cost just under $50,000. Like I said, we did not have that money sitting around, okay? So this is what I want to get into with how we paid for it. When God brings you to something, He will bring you through it. He does not leave you hanging when He says, yes, here is a green light, now go. Ways that we pay for our adoption were through fundraising and grants. I will link some of the grants that we used down below. They were wonderful. They helped so much. They gave a lot of money, and it was a gift from God. Fundraising, we did buy a puzzle piece. Each piece has the name of someone on the back of it. It was $10 a puzzle piece. And then at the end, it's a huge picture of our son. I actually have to finish putting it all together still. Mom fail. And so we did that. We also did a yard sale where we just had people come and donate as much as they could. And we did a neighborhood yard sale. We got like $3,000 from that. We got over like $8,000 with grants. And then we also did a t-shirt fundraiser saying we are the village, and people bought t-shirts. So we are huge with the idea of it takes a village, because we truly believe that God loves to use His children to bless His other children. And so sometimes it is placing that pride aside and allowing God to use His other children to help bless you, because there is this level of like, okay, not necessarily asking for the money, but when people want to come alongside you for various reasons, maybe they had a heart for adoption, but for one reason or another it didn't work out. Maybe they just, want to be a part of the story, and there is nothing wrong with that, because it is something that brings you closer even together. And so we had even some families that gave their monthly tithes to us. We had families that just gave us a couple $1,000s. We had people that just wanted to bless us, and we could have been prideful in saying no, but we were thankful, and we are forever grateful for the impact that they have had on our life and what they gave up to help us and to be a part of our story. If you're wondering how you're going to pay for it, I mean, there's just so many resources, like the grants, the fundraising. Some people take out loans. Unfortunately, we did not need to do that. We did put everything on a credit card. We have a little bit left to pay, not very much. And so after a year's time, and that is such a blessing from God. And we worship a rich God, right? Like, He's really rich. He's got a lot of money, and He loves to give to His children. It is a little bit humbling when you come to a spot where you're like, I feel like this is what's for us, but it's hard, and it's something so much greater outside of us. And that's okay, because that's when you see miracles happen, when you give space for them to actually take place. If you liked this video, please check out these videos. I think this is going to be one that you enjoy. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button. It just helps me get these videos out there for other people that are also wondering the same things, or that also just need encouragement in, life and in being a mama. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you next time.